So you've started creating videos and want to produce some of the graphics and effects the pros use. Today, we'll create lower thirds, like this one, using Photoshop. Next on Framework Digital. Lower thirds are a great tool to help augment your videos. They can be used to identify your on-screen talent, provide additional information and links, and even to make the viewer laugh. After this video, you'll be able to make colorful, readable, professional lower third graphics in Photoshop and import them into your videos. I'm going to show you how, step by step. My name is Mark Lassoff. Welcome to Framework Digital. I've been teaching coding and digital design for over 20 years. Over the past decade, almost 2 million people have taken my courses on development and digital design. Before getting to our tutorial, I'd encourage you to hit that subscribe button. We produce several videos each week, helping digital creators produce everything from apps to videos. Don't forget to hit the bell so you're alerted when new videos are released. Let's first talk about trying to get some inspiration and ideas for our lower thirds. The first thing I'm going to do is use Google Image Search. Google Image Search has hundreds and hundreds of lower third examples just for searching the term lower thirds within Google. Now remember, we're looking for ideas, not necessarily a lower third to just copy and modify in Photoshop. We're also going to want to keep our own company or individual branding in mind when we create the lower third. You'll notice at the top of the Google search results, there are some filters I can use to specify the specific type of lower third I'd like to see. From there, I can get even more ideas about the type of lower third I'd like to create. Before you begin creating your lower third, you need to know the resolution of your video. Two common resolutions are 4K and HD. If your video is 4K, you're going to click Create New, and you're going to set a width of 4096 and a height of 2160. Make sure your resolution is 72 pixels per inch. You can leave the color mode at RGB, and make sure the background contents are set at transparent. When you click Create, an appropriately sized document will open for creating lower thirds for 4K video. If you're creating HD video, you're also going to click Create New, and this time you're going to set a width of 1920 and a height of 1080. This is probably one of the templates provided by Photoshop. Your other selections will remain the same: a resolution of 72 pixels per inch, RGB color mode, and a transparent background. We now have an HD size screen in order to create our lower thirds. The point is, we're going to create a document that's the same pixel dimensions as the video we've recorded. For creating color schemes, I recommend color.adobe.com. This tool provides several ways for us to create color schemes. If you're creating your color scheme from scratch, you might try the color wheel option. That allows you to use color theory to create harmonious color schemes by dragging the different colors on the color wheel or selecting different color harmony rules. For example, we could create a scheme of complementary colors, which are colors across from each other on the color wheel. We could create a color scheme from a monochromatic set of colors, which are colors of the same hue. Or we could use different shades of the same color. Once you've got a scheme that you like, you're going to want to record these numbers at the bottom, AD7944, which is the hexadecimal definition for the brown color above. You can see the hexadecimal definition for the other colors on the screen. If you already have a logo or other graphic with colors you want to work with, you can use the Extract Theme option from Adobe Color. Simply drag the image onto the drag and drop area, and it'll extract the colors from the color scheme for you. Here you can see the colors from the framework logo. I could very easily record these and use these in my lower third. The first thing I like to do when I'm selecting typefaces is to type the text for my lower thirds directly into my Photoshop document. So I'll select my text tool, which looks like a T, and I'll type the name of the show. I'll hit escape and then select the text tool a second time and type my name. Using the text tool again, I'm going to select the text for the name of the show. And now I can select a typeface, either from the top of the screen or from the character palette. As I drag across the different typefaces, it's going to render the name of the show in that particular typeface. I'm going to keep going until I get to one that I like. And I'm going to choose Avenir. Now, some typefaces have a number of different variations that you can use. I'm going to choose Avenir Black, which is nice and thick. If you have more than one line of text as part of your lower third, you're going to want to select the second line and choose either the same font or a font from the same family. Let's choose for this one Avenir Light. If you use different fonts or different font variations, you want to make sure they're very different. If the fonts are only slightly different, it doesn't look intentional. It looks like you made a mistake. Alright, so now I have the font selected for both lines of text that'll be part of my lower third. Now that we've chosen our fonts, I'm going to go ahead and complete the lower third. Remember that we created a document that was the same size as our actual video. So the size of the lower third we create will be the size that it appears by default in our edited video. I'm going to move these lines of text into place using the Move tool. I'm then going to hit Command-T on a Mac or Control-T on a Windows machine to size these the way I'd like. I can drag towards and away from the center using one of the sizing boxes in the corner to accomplish this. I can also position the elements how I want them positioned in the final lower third. I'll now create the background of my lower third. I want my name inside an orange box from my color theme. So I'll select the color orange and then use the rectangular marquee tool to create the box. Once I've created the marquee, I'll need a place to put the pixels that contain the background. I'm going to do that in the Layers panel. I'm going to click the Add Layer button, which creates the blank layer, and then I'm going to drag that layer below the text. This layer 1 has nothing on it, so I can drag it to the trash. Now that I have the layer, I'm going to choose Edit and Fill. And since my orange from my color scheme is already the foreground color in the color selector, I'm going to choose that and click OK. I'm going to repeat the process for the framework digital part of the lower third. We'll create the layer. It's already below the text. I will drag a marquee with the rectangle. And for this, I'm going to use white. So Edit, Fill, White. And you can see my lower third is already beginning to take shape. I'm going to use the Move tool to move some of the elements around and make it look exactly like I want. I can also use the arrow keys on my keyboard to nudge the different elements. It's a good idea to have your text line up along its left edge. As a final touch, I'm going to add a drop shadow to the rectangles that are part of the lower third. Now that my lower third is done, I'm going to save it. And since I'm using Premiere for editing, I'm going to save this as a Photoshop document. Any of the Creative Suite software can read the .psd files, the Photoshop documents. I hope you're enjoying this tutorial so far. If you are, would you mind hitting that like button? Also, I'd love to see your work. Let me know in the comments how you use lower thirds in your video work. Since I'm making this particular lower third for HD video, I'm going to click Create New, and I'm going to select 1920 by 1080. I'm going to verify that the resolution and background contents are correct, along with the color mode. I'll then click Create. For this particular lower third, I'm going to use an image. I'm going to drag that image into Photoshop, and I'm going to reduce its size so it's appropriate for the lower third. I'm going to type my text, which in this case is just my name. I want the text to be black, so I'll select it, choose the color palette for the text, and from the color picker, I'll choose black. Now I'm going to choose my typeface. Again, I'm going to look at some different typefaces until I see one that I think will work. Now that my typeface is selected, I'm going to move and size the text. And now I'm going to create the actual graphics for the lower third. I'm going to put the image inside a circle. So I'll choose the elliptical marquee tool. I'll create a layer to put it on, drag it below the text in the image, and I'll draw my circle while holding Shift. I'm going to make the circle orange, so I'll leave the color alone, and choose Edit and Fill. We're using the foreground color, and there I have my circle. I'm going to zoom in on that circle, and then I'm going to use the circle as a template to erase the parts of the image on the bottom that are outside the circle. So I'm going to Command click on the layer thumbnail, and then edit the marquee so only the parts outside of the circle below me are selected. First, I'll choose Select Inverse, which selects everything that's not selected. I do want to make sure this part of the top of the head in the image remains, so I'm going to now use the elliptical marquee again, and I'm going to subtract that from the selection. Next step, I'm going to have to rasterize the layer that has the image. And now when I press the delete key, the parts of the image I don't want are erased. I'm going to release my selection and zoom back out. Next, I'm going to reposition my text, and I'm going to draw the rectangle that goes underneath the text. I'll switch back to the rectangular marquee tool. I'll draw my rectangle. I'll create a layer for my rectangle and move it into place below the text. And this is going to be white, so I'll choose Edit and Fill, and we're going to use white. Now I do want this rectangular layer below the circle, so again I'll just reposition my layers like that, and I've got my lower third. I'm simply going to add drop shadow, and I think I'm going to call it done. I'll save this on my desktop as a PSD file. So the last thing we need to do is actually bring the lower third into our video. I've created a new project here in Premiere, and you can see I've got a sequence with a video inside of it, and then I've got the lower third PSD imported into here. All I need to do is drag this onto the timeline exactly where I want it to appear. If it's not at the beginning of a clip, I like to use cross dissolve at the beginning and the end, so we have a smooth transition. Don't forget, you can always select the element on your timeline. Go to Effect Controls, click Motion, and you can move it exactly where you want it to appear on screen. Don't forget to use the safe area represented by the rectangles in our preview to make sure that your lower third is visible to all audiences. So now we have our lower third designed and integrated into our video in Premiere. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial on lower thirds in Photoshop and it was useful to you. If you want to download the Photoshop files I created, you can do so using the link below. I also put the link in the video description. Before you go, let me remind you one last time to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're alerted whenever we come out with a new video. I'm Mark Lassoff for Framework Digital. Please visit our website at frameworktv.com to sign up for free training for digital creators. When you sign up, I'll send you free courses, workshops, and projects to help you develop your digital skills. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.